This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
It's the Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Tuesday, January the 18th. It is sunny, it is cold in Eastern Ontario. Coming up after yesterday and all of the shoveling. A few tips from the Heart and Stroke Foundation about how to do it safely, and some of our favorite videos from the snow yesterday in Ontario. How much time do you think you waste in a day that, when added up, equals a month, equals in a year? Shocking amount of time that we're forced to sit around and wait is coming up later on the podcast. But yesterday would have been Betty White's 100th birthday, and so as a result, her estate asked that people would donate to their local humane societies and charity locally. Because of our snow, we couldn't get final figures, but boy, people sure loved the Betty White Challenge yesterday.
Some of the numbers that we were starting to see were incredible. Just west of us, so Peterborough area, they were reporting upwards of $16,000.
Wow.
To the east of us in Kingston, about the same, close to $17,000. So yeah, I've heard reports as well. Now again, numbers are still fairly early, because as you mentioned, tomorrow we're going to check in with our own Quinte Humane Society. But some are estimating that North America, in both the States and Canada, around 20 million yesterday through the Betty White Challenge.
That's a whole bunch of money.
That's a lot of $5.
Yeah.
People were being asked to just donate $5 to a local animal charity, whether it be a shelter or a rescue, to help out a four-legged friend. And clearly, people took that and ran with it. They've gone above and beyond. So just an amazing tribute to an amazing woman.
If you made a donation yesterday, thank you on behalf of the animals. Marilyn Lowry is going to be on the show tomorrow morning and then on the podcast, because yesterday with our snowstorm, her tech people couldn't get in, or IT people. Everybody's got to go in and check out the online donations. I mean, it was Marilyn and maybe one other person yesterday with the snow. So yeah, we'll cut her some slack and let her get cleaned up today, and then we'll get her on the show tomorrow. But yesterday was quite the day. You and the boys got out there and tackled your driveway. Was that the first shoveling for this winter for you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
So,
there's no question about that.
Yeah, so the old muscles that didn't get worked before, and the Heart and Stroke Foundation.
Oh my goodness.
We could play a true or false quiz. True or false, when shoveling, it's best to just lift with your arms all the time. That's false.
That would last for maybe 2 lifts, and then I think everybody would be done.
True or false, it's best to get as much snow on your shovel as you can and hoist it as far as you can. That's false. There are some ways that you should be shoveling a lot safer to keep your health up.
Absolutely. So if you start to feel lightheaded, dizzy, maybe experiencing shortness of breath or tightening, burning in your chest, all signs that you should not be shoveling snow.
Right.
We always think of our backs and, yes, our knees, possibly our shoulders, when we're shoveling, but the Heart and Stroke Foundation do want you to remember that can also take a toll on your heart and possibly cause heart attack and stroke. As you mentioned this morning when we were talking about this, there's a reason why when you're shoveling really heavy snow, that wet snow, some refer to it as heart attack snow.
Yeah.
Because it is so heavy. And that's one of the things they say to watch out for. You know what? Don't pile the snow on your shovel. That is under the don't list. Take it in, as I was showing the boys yesterday, do a couple at a time, like start with the first layer, the top layer, and then work your way down. Don't try and lift it all at once, because it does cause unnecessary strain. What they do say to do when shoveling is to begin slowly, warm up. So even just go for a short walk beforehand, before you start shoveling. Begin slowly. Check with your doctor if you have a history of health issues. Maybe don't shovel at all, and drink plenty of water when you're out there. Stay hydrated.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, take your time. And we had talked this morning too on our neighborhood Facebook page, a young fellow who says, I'm saving up for money to get a car. So if anybody wants me to come by and shovel your driveway, I'll do it for a little cash. Good old economics. And he started out low. He was like $10 or $15. Nobody was like, dude, after a day like this and you want to buy a car, I'll pay you $30 or $40. if you can come over here.
Yeah.
So hopefully he got busy yesterday, and because he's a young buck, I'm sure he's healthy, but he's probably a little bit sore. So thanks to everybody who helped out. We heard about neighborhoods that got together. I know I took part in one where a neighbor of ours a few doors down, a senior, was having an emergency, and of course, because didn't expect to go out, didn't do anything with their driveway, suddenly need the driveway cleared. Before we knew it, we had a couple of snow blowers on it, half dozen other people with shovels, and then a guy showed up with a little plow blade on the front of his pickup truck, and we got that thing done in about 3 minutes flat because we had to. Because it was an emergency, right? But more videos about that went on social media yesterday, how here in Ontario, we look so much like Canadians.
Well, and maybe it was that video, Mark. Maybe it was the video of you guys in your neighborhood that made this list of examples of being Canadian yesterday, because along with that, some other interesting videos, were posted showing Ontarians in their true Canadian form. And at the top of that was helping out an elderly neighbor, and a group of people in a neighborhood did come along and shovel their driveway within 5 minutes. So unbeknownst to you, maybe someone was filming you, Mark.
Maybe it was.
And you made it onto this list. Very Canadian indeed, helping out. And speaking of shoveling and helping out, Highway 401, a mess yesterday. There were backups and cars in the ditch, and it was not pleasant by any means. But again, a video came out of that, of people getting out of their cars and shoveling each other out because plows couldn't get in there. So here they are on the highway, shoveling the highway in order to get things moving again. Very, very Canadian. We see them every year, but the videos of people finding different modes of transportation, say snowboarding or skiing, even a snowmobile going up a street in and around Toronto. So people having some fun with all the snow we had yesterday. And a fun one as well, I know you saw it, was the squirrel, and they're calling it possibly the new snowplow that many Ontarians might want to use. There was a video of a squirrel running across the top of a fence. And as he's going, it's just a poof of white as he plows through the snow. It wasn't holding him back, wasn't stopping him. And away he went.
Yeah, the one video we shouldn't have seen was the woman on the Rideau whose car was going through the ice. And while she sat on her car, rather than scramble to safety with every second available to her, took some time to take a selfie.
I'd say that's more American behavior than Canadian behavior.
Ding! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It's all about the selfie. You got to get the selfie. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we can laugh because she made it to safety, but come on, that's just a better story told. We don't need the picture. So please.
Exactly.
Keep yourself safe. Tonight's going to be bitterly cold again, -20 in the evening with maybe 5 more centimeters on the way. Quinte region, you've been warned. And the warming stations are open. So if you need
5 centimeters, that's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that. That's all good. And finally on the show this morning, we came out a list. Now, it came out of Britain because number 10 made me laugh. Came out of Britain about how much time do we waste in a day. And then you compound that so that over the course of a year, and it's almost a month because it's about 2 hours a day. And when I saw that number 10 was waiting for a cup of tea to brew, I went, yeah, this is out of Britain. Let's Google this. And it was. So, but if you spend time standing around your Keurig, right, when you don't have to, that's kind of considered wasting time. But on average, we waste about 2 hours a day, which equals 26 days a year, which is almost a month, just sitting around doing basically nothing.
Yeah. And you mentioned the cup of tea. I thought there'd be more technology on this list, but it would only at number 7 was that listed as a waste of time. What people found the biggest waste of time, scrolling in social media at number 7. I thought it would have been higher on this list for sure.
I thought commuting and being in traffic, and while that took up a couple of spots, sitting in traffic, so much like the 401 yesterday, when they at least shoveled to do something, was number 3, and commuting was number 6. But a lot of it is waiting for other people.
Yeah, like getting served in a restaurant or waiting for a delivery to arrive, trying to call the doctor's office and just waiting in line, number 2. The number 1 waste of time, again, as you said, waiting on other people because we're waiting for that person. It's being on hold. The number 1 time waster. And don't we all hate that?
Yep, yep. I have no patience for it, and my wife, unfortunately, is executor for an estate. So things like the Canadian Revenue Agency, the CRA, and I know of a day she was on hold for 6 hours. She went on with her day.
My God.
Yeah, she went on with her day and just beep, beep, beep. She could hear it, but she had to get something clarified and get something in. And so this time of year, either with taxes or certainly in the pandemic where you need to contact people and it can't all be Zoom, some of it's got to be over the phone because you can't go in person. Waiting on hold must be an absolute torture for people throughout the pandemic.
What did we do before we had speaker? Honestly, if you didn't have the speaker function on your phone, as you said, because your wife was able to go about her day and continue on. And I've done that too. I've called and okay, I'm going to be on hold. So I put it on speaker and away I go and I listen for it. If you didn't have that function before you were able to have that function, 6 hours waiting on the phone.
I don't want to tell you how it ended because I'm pretty sure she didn't get the information she wanted. Which I don't.
Oh no.
I mean, I'm hoping it isn't that somebody actually accidentally hung up on her. Oh my gosh.
Well, and can people on the other end of the line, can they see how long you've been on hold?
Now that's a great
call. They would be able
to
tell how long that call's been holding.
Yeah.
Because I would think picking up that call, how do you see that someone's been waiting for 6 hours to talk to you and A, not have the answer they're looking for, but B, not be incredibly apologetic and doing everything you can to make it right?
Yeah.
Because again, that is so excessive.
Yeah, it is. So if you find that you don't waste a lot of time doing these things, Charity, myself, and my wife have got your back. We're the one raising the average for you. So it's the Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast coming up tomorrow. Charity's great idea after all of this is that, you know what, we should go somewhere warmer. And since we can't do it physically, we can do it musically. So we're going to have that with our Throwback Thursday on Thursday. We're going to give you those songs tomorrow for Burger Revolution, and that theme is coming up before we launch into the No Repeat Workday. And again, Marilyn Laurie is going to be on the show. We'll find out how the donations came in for the Betty White Challenge yesterday with the Quinte Humane Society. It's the Mark and Charity Morning Coffee Podcast right here on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and off of our social media websites. Just subscribe for it with a little bell or the little heart, and then you'll get the update when it is uploaded every day by about 11 o'clock in the morning. Broadcasting live on 95.5 Hits FM in Belleville. Enjoy Tuesday. We'll talk tomorrow.